Tonight we will talk again about commandments of Yeshua, and we will talk about commandments of the teacher and my life and your life. In other words, how we implement those commandments, and particularly tonight we will discuss some type of commandments which is not that obvious. You will understand what I mean. But before that, I would like to recall some very important moments from the previous lectures. Anxiety is a pagan feeling, so do not allow anxiety to destroy your faith. Another important thing, we must not condemn other people. It's important, this builds our relationships. And we should pray for the success of our work and do it regularly. Tonight I would like to talk about a style of commandments, and particularly you will see what I mean when I read those verses. This is Matthew chapter 10 verses 22 and 23. And you will be hated by all because of my name, but the one who endures to the end shall be saved. Whenever they persecute you in one city, flee to the next. Amen, I tell you, you will never finish going through the cities of Israel before the Son of Man comes. Here we have something about persecutions. And where is our problem? Here it is. Sometimes Yeshua gives his commandments as predictions or as narratives with following imperatives. Look at this one more time. And you will be hated by all because of my name, but the one who endures to the end shall be saved. Where is his commandment? We do not see any imperatives here. Here we have a phrase, but the one who endures to the end shall be saved. And then we find the imperative, flee to the next, and city is assumed. Where is the commandment? The commandment is flee. However, if we look at the passage carefully, we will see that this disciple who is described as the one who endures to the end, in fact, receives the commandment to endure. I hope you understand what I mean. We do not have any commandments in verse 22. However, it is assumed that you will perceive this verse as Yeshua's commandment. We should notice that sometimes, and even I should say often, the teacher uses narratives, subjunctives, and questions in order to communicate his teaching and give us his commandments. People read the Gospels and they ignore many imperatives given by the teacher. And as for those narratives, it is even easier to ignore them. This means that we have to seek his will and to read the biblical text extremely carefully. We should find even hints what we should do and how we can please him in order to be good disciples. There is at least one more stylistic approach to the commandments, and let me show this approach. These are verses 32 and 33. Therefore, whoever acknowledges me before man, I will also acknowledge him before my Father who is in heaven. But whoever denies me before man, I will also deny him before my Father who is in heaven. Here we have something which might be called declarative statements. Yeshua does not use imperatives. Again, there are no imperatives. However, we should ask, are those statements commandments? The answer is yes. Let us study these two passages in their context. So, first of all, we have the passage, you will be hated. And you will be hated by all because of my name. Hated by all. It is a strong statement. Is this statement hyperbolic? Try following Yeshua earnestly and constantly, and immediately today you will see how people's attitude change. Yeshua was hated by people, and you will be hated. We find something similar in Matthew chapter 24. It reads, verse 9, "Then they will deliver you to tribulation, and will kill you, and you will be hated by all nations because of my name," says Yeshua. Here we have a repeated statement: everybody will be in very bad relationships with you, even though you try to be a good person. Everybody will hate you. Okay, and this is something which happened already. This is our future. This is our reality. Who will hate the disciples? Who will persecute them? Those who hear the message and reject it. Let me ask a question. But what if I am silent? Then nobody will hate me. It means we are supposed to be vocal in order to be hated. Otherwise we are silent and everybody will love us. Many people in Judea hated disciples and oppressed them. In the Roman Empire there were numerous persecutions. In the last time every faithful disciple will be persecuted. Thus we have a commandment to be strong in order to be saved. Like I said, it's just something which is predicted. All those problems are predicted. You do not see an obvious commandment, but it is a commandment. And whoever does not take up his cross and follow after me isn't worthy of me. This is our next statement. And this statement is about the cross. Whoever doesn't take up his cross and follow after me isn't worthy of me. What does it mean to take up one's cross? The phrase to bear one's cross can be used to describe any kind of suffering or hardship. This is what people do today, but it is often used in a more specific sense to refer to the challenges that Christians face as they live out their faith. The challenges can be personal, such as illness or financial hardship. Here are some examples of how the phrase to bear one's cross can be used. I am going through a really tough time right now, but I know that I have to bear my cross. This is what people say. I'm not sure why I'm going through this, but I know that I have to trust God and bear my cross. Does the text speak about hardships? Here is the context. He who finds his life will lose it, and he who loses his life for my sake will find it. The text is not about hardships. The text is about death. The text is about faithfulness. Today these words may sound too harsh, however, this is what Yeshua is talking about. He was faithful and his disciples must be faithful, and it is a commandment, although it's not expressed by an imperative. So let us learn this lesson. Our teacher wants us to fulfill something. He gives commandments very often, but not always he uses imperatives. Sometimes you have narrations. Sometimes you have declarative statements, but they are still commandments of Yeshua, of our teacher. And here is our practice. Yeshua's commandments are given to us. Let's remember that. Sometimes they are given directly, and sometimes they are given indirectly. And the commandments which are given indirectly should not be ignored. Yeshua used imperatives, narratives, or statements, but regardless of the literary styles, the teacher still gives us commandments, as they are a part of the covenant. Commandments of the teacher and my life. Does my life change when I read the gospel? Do I change? Do I perceive statements and narrations of Yeshua as nice suggestions, or I respond to them as a faithful servant? Do I perceive statements and questions of Yeshua as commandments, or I just ignore them? Let's answer this question and let's be faithful disciples.